Barkeep, Curtis.
Oh, great to be here, man. Fun night tonight.
We are getting to the end of the year to where we got some C batches coming.
That's right.
We also got the last Booker's of 2024.
Yeah, it's a fun time of the year. This October, November time frame. It seems like, you know, once a week there's something really cool that you're running into at the liquor store. Today, you happen to run into this guy. Pretty excited.
You start to see some like little allocated teasers starting to come out. Not that I'm waiting in line in the snow and sleet to get them, but get a little tease in there.
But without further ado, man, why'd they name it Jimmy's Batch?
Ode to the Jimmy Russell from Wild Turkey. Just kind of, once again, another tip of the cap, if you will.
Yeah.
Fred No out here is just giving all the flowers to people while they're still alive. Well, I guess most of them are still alive.
Seems like a great friend, a guy that makes sure he gives his props to his homies, his competitors even. From my understanding, Booker and Jimmy were great friends, albeit competitors as well.
Well, I would say even Fred would go a step farther and say almost a father figure as well.
So, you know, pretty deep connection there. So, yeah, cool to kind of give a tip of the cap to Jimmy. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, to at least summarize the card, you know, he's talking about how Jimmy would come to like whiskey festivals and kind of share Wild Turkey juice with the Jim Beam distillers, if you will. And he just kind of preached kind of this camaraderie and really enjoyed it. Went on with some things that he gives credit to Jimmy Russell for, with talking about like, you know, treat people how you want others to treat. And I would say, you know, that may have been Jesus.
Yeah, he might have kind of stolen that thunder a little bit there.
Yeah,
But that's fine. That's fine.
You know, maybe there was an asterisk at the back of the conversation to where he's like, Jesus said this.
He cited his sources, I think, at least.
Hopefully.
Getting into the specs here.
Please.
So 2024-04, we have 62.9%. That comes out to be 125.8 proof. So definitely a step back from the 03, which was north of 130. And then, according to Wikipedia, so this is not fact checked. So take that for what it is. This is the oldest Booker's they've ever released.
That's what I've seen. And yes, I know there's a Booker's 30th anniversary out there. We're just talking about the regular Booker's. So settle down, comment section.
That's 7 years, 9 months, and 19 days. So you're getting close to an 8-year mark there. But yeah, this, according to Wikipedia, is the oldest Booker's that they've released.
Let's get this on the palate.
All right, man.
Well, I guess nose.
Cheers to you guys, cheers to you guys. Appreciate you being here. If this is your first time, like you said, like and subscribe. If you have been coming back, appreciate you. So, to you, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Alrighty.
All right. Would you say that this year, this was a good Booker's lineup, great Booker's lineup, disappointing Booker's lineup?
In between, good.
Okay. We'll be doing a blind, I believe, next week of the entire Booker's lineup. I'll be curious how some of these transformed, if you will. 02 on record, not my favorite. Some people have said it was their favorite. So I'm kind of curious. Was I in a bad mood that day?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty traditional, I feel like. There's some vanilla, brown sugar in there.
I would say this has opened up into more of like I get a lot of red fruit actually, which I don't feel like I typically pull out of a Booker's.
Yeah.
I get a lot of
Cherry pie type of vibe.
like a cream. I go a little raspberry, strawberry, but I feel like kind of Jimmy Russell on the mind, that Wild Turkey cherry.
Yeah.
I can't get to there, but I'll go with more of that sweet, tangy strawberry, raspberry.
Yeah.
Nice kind of a creamy vanilla and brown sugar. I mean, there's a lot of sweetness in here.
Yeah.
Especially for it being pretty old. I feel like getting those red fruits is interesting. I'm pumped about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. It's very easy. It's been a little more in your face in the past. Booker's has with the ethanol in the nose. And I don't know if we just did it perfectly this time, letting it open up. We sat there with it poured already for 15, 20 minutes. So
We just drooled over it.
maybe that burned off a little bit. But yeah, that's a really nice, easy nose.
Slight kind of peanut butter. You know, I feel like when you're talking some of these Booker's and Jim Beam, you have to grade your peanut. Is it the shell? Is it just cracking open the peanut? I'm going to go the creamy kind of vanilla kind of translates into that peanut as well.
Yeah. That finishes wonderfully.
She's hot at the back.
Yeah. That's still coming. That is, yeah, that's a great patented Booker's finish. Definitely more of a punch on the palate than there was on the nose.
I get like a healthy Snickers.
Yeah.
You know, like the knockoff to where we're going to use like the real dark chocolate, but there's like this really nice nougat, peanut, and caramel in there.
Yeah.
A lot of oak spice I'm getting in the back to where a little harsh. If I were to like start to kind of poke holes in it at least, a little harsh in the back of the palate, a lot of cinnamon, a lot of pepper right up front. Yeah, that bitterness, which sounds like a strong negative, it just kind of comes across as like this dark chocolate or cacao, but that caramel and nougat kind of smooth it out in a really nice way.
Yeah, the red fruit is definitely replaced by your off-brand Snickers bar, your cacao.
You're talking palate though.
Yeah, on the palate, yeah. So that red fruit is really only prevalent on the nose, at least for me. But yeah, it's been replaced by something I also really like. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think I really like the nose. I like the front of the palate. The back of the palate, there is just kind of this bitterness that I'm trying to almost go positive and say it's like this dark chocolate and like sea salt.
Yeah, is it like kind of like almost like a salted peanut type of bitter?
I'm kind of
peanut shell type of bitter.
You can. I don't know if I translated. My mind just kind of keeps going down that dark chocolate rabbit hole, and it's okay. The hug is fantastic.
Yeah.
It lingers forever in a great way.
Yeah, good mouthfeel.
Yeah, great mouthfeel. There's just something in the back of the palate that, once again, if you're poking holes and you're talking about a $100 bottle, something that's not 10 plus years, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
So we need to talk to non-Booker's guy that doesn't buy every batch.
Sure. So good segue. Let's grade this thing, man. This does belong in the 2024 Bourbon Barkeep Whiskey of the Year sheet, as this did debut in 2024, obviously.
Is it? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it did. It did. So we grade, if you have not been here before, we grade with 2 different categories. And we have kind of ranges, I guess, for lack of a better word, to help us kind of make sense of our numbers. I don't want to just sit here and say 65 and not really know what that means. So we grade with 2 different categories. First one being senses, that's your all-encompassing experience. So what was the nose like? What was the palate like? Finish like? All those 9 yards. All 9 of them. Yeah. Second category is bang for the buck, and that's where we take into account the price. Do you feel you got your money's worth? Excuse me, that's kind of tough. Would you pay more in the future? Would you never buy it again at that price point? That sort of thing. So, Senses, man, lead us off.
Not a ton coming out, as you all saw the last sip. I do feel like either my palate's kind of warmed up or it's opened up a bit more to where that sea salt has started to kind of taper down. So I'll be curious what kind of happens in our blind that we're going to do.
Yeah.
So now I'm creeping up a couple points at least. Tough to put in great. You know, I think I'm just going to stick with just a 76.
Okay. I was going to go 78. I'm the kind of same ballpark as you, where it's not necessarily a great Booker's product. I liked 03 better, just kind of on first thoughts.
Sure.
So maybe a couple days that might change. But yeah, it's not a great bourbon, but it's very, very good, and that's where 78 belongs.
I do want to see how it stacks up against the previous batches.
Yeah.
Because we were a little hard on the previous batches, but we also hold Booker's to a high standard.
We do. I love Booker's. I've loved them for a few years now, and this is not necessarily a letdown by any means, so don't take it that way. But
agreed. I don't think that Booker's is just pumping out 15 tasty notes. They do bourbon, just that unfiltered, uncut.
They do really well.
Right in your face.
Yeah.
Quintessential stuff.
They do it really well. Bang for the buck. So you mentioned it, $100 MSRP. That has kind of crept up this year. You used to be able to get these for $85.90, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Biden's America. Can I do that?
Not too long.
Nah, not much longer. But just, it's inflated a little bit price-wise, just like the rest of, the rest of goods and services around the country. So $100 MSRP, I'll take this one.
Please.
It's not a letdown, and you knew what you're going to pay going into every Booker's release this year. You're paying $100, and it's certainly not a letdown. I'm going to go 58.
Okay.
If somebody had this on the shelf for 110, I'm probably putting that as my ceiling. I'm not paying much more than that for this specific bourbon. I'd probably go up to 120, 125 for the 03. But yeah, 58, you know, it doesn't blow my socks off at that price point, but it certainly justifies the $100 MSRP that Booker's, we've all come to know with Booker's. So I'll leave it there. Your turn.
Think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think I would change too much of what you said. I would go a touch higher just because the presentation's there, you know, so you kind of get that going with you.
You can probably reuse this, you know, make yourself a bookshelf.
It's tough when you even have not only just Elijah Craig barrel proofs out there for cheaper, older, some would say more delicious, even some of the larcenies out there, younger, but still, you know, different flavor profile, but it's up against stiff competition. Yeah. So I'll kind of stick with kind of that 60 and that maybe a touch generous. I think the census score is what matters to a lot of people at this point.
With Booker's for sure. Yeah, like you mentioned, that's kind of the one knock with Booker's is that there are similar products with your Larceny barrel proofs, with your Elijah Craig barrel proofs that are, you know, a good deal cheaper, $20, $25 cheaper.
And maintained cheaper.
Yeah.
Obviously, Booker's was early for us, so we're putting it out so you all can take a look.
Yeah.
And if you all avoid it after some of these tasting notes, power to you. Yeah. Hopefully you can find 03, because in my mind, it's better. We're going to find out next week.
Next week. To you, man. To you guys, thanks for being here. To Jimmy's batch, good, not great.
To Jimmy Russell himself, man.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching.